Hi everyone, welcome to the Chit-chat
Hello.
Café.
Hello. So yeah, welcome again. So I'm Carolyn Barber from the Good Mental Health Co-op, and I'm joined this morning with Sarah Haskett, who's also from the Good Mental Health Co-op and a Creative Mental Health, and Paul from Splodge Designs, who's hiya, going to talk to us today about this course that's going to be running. Literally, it starts a week today at this, well, roughly this time, 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So he's going to just chat a bit about the course and what's involved and encourage you to join in. So, Paul, do you want to say something about the background? Because the course is origami for beginners, yes? And so how have you got into this world of origami? I'm sure there's a wider context.
Yeah, I'll try and keep the story brief. I work now these days with Claire Jefferson Jones as a company called Splodge Designs, where we deliver art workshops. And obviously, about a year ago, we were offering them face-to-face to community groups. Now we're doing a lot of Zoom sessions online, and origami papercraft is one of them. I first got into origami basically when I went to a local library on the way home from school when I was about 10. And for me, libraries were like a treasure trove. And I got out a book on origami, and I didn't really know a great deal about it. I knew it as an ancient Japanese craft art form, but it's not something I'd been taught or even really seen much on TV. And I got this book out and I was absolutely fascinated by it. And I would just like sit there at home or sometimes in front of the TV, grabbing sometimes like bits of used paper, like scrap paper that had already been printed on one side. Or if I was like lucky enough to come across, say, coloured paper or using newspaper, and just basically just go through this book and doodle around and make stuff. And yeah, I became quite into it from then on, basically.
Nice. And I can see there's a couple of people watching on the stream, so I just wanted to say, drop us a hello, let us know who you are and what you think as we go along this interview, and ask any questions that you want to ask. It's really nice to hear from you on the comments, because it can be quite a lonely stage up here on a live stream. So yeah, let us know and obviously ask any questions you want to ask about the course. We're introducing free courses. They're fully funded, and Paul is one of our facilitators for Origami for Beginners, and I'm really excited about this one. So yeah, your passion for that comes through, actually, and it reminded me of my brother, because he was always really into a bit of origami as a teenager as well, you know, as a young man. I don't know, what is it about origami that fascinates people?
That's a really good question, and I think it's kind of branded. When I say branded, but this is how it was like known of in ancient times, as a kind of thing of patience and concentration. Because obviously in the modern world, we're obviously bombarded with, you know, so much data and information and TV and things like that. Just I imagine in the ancient world in Japan, they obviously had their busy, hard-working lives when things are going on, and this was almost a time for not quite official meditation or relaxation, but you're kind of focusing on something. It's much like if people enjoy knitting or sewing.
Oh no, we've lost him. He's dropped out. Oh, and I was oh, and he's back. Hang on, I'll let him back in.
Where did we get up to on that?
You were mid-flow. You were talking about in Japanese, so a bit like knitting, you know, you're concentrating.
Yeah, so it's basically for putting your focus onto something that you might have like a busy life or things that worry or concern you, but you give all your focus to a simple piece of paper and you're kind of in control of it and making it something tangible. And I think it, as in many art forms, there's just something relaxing. So I think that's probably why people get into it, as it's just a nice kind of getaway, really.
I like that.
I think that's exactly why creative courses like this are so good for your well-being, aren't they? It's something to, like you say, it's almost like a mindful activity that your entire focus is on creating something, you know, quite simple is that it's really satisfying and kind of lifts us, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Definitely.
I just want to say hello to Kayla on the stream, who said hello from Cape Town. So
Wow.
we're getting global.
Yay! Hello.
And these courses are online, so they are accessible to anyone globally. So yeah, it would be really cool to kind of expand what we're doing to this sort of broader field. And the thing that struck me about what you said there, Paul, is that you've got that mindfulness sort of approach to it. But the thing that I think is perhaps slightly better in some ways to mindfulness, you actually create something, and there's something really positive about creating something. You've come up with a bit of scrap paper and then you create something that's cool, that you like, that maybe you can even use, like an aeroplane, or so yeah.
Oh, definitely. They are practical in a sense, in that they essentially can either be something that it looks nice. For instance, this is a bird that, I just hold it there. That looks nice, like a piece of art, and you could. Sorry, it's moving that way. You could give that as a gift or decorate your home. But there are things that are practical and can amuse children and adults alike. For instance, on the course, I show you how to make a bird, which obviously looks like a bird, although a very kind of pointy one. But this one, it actually flies. So it's actually like it's effectively automata. It's effectively like a mechanical toy.
Oh,
And
that's sweet.
That's a relatively simple one to make, but that you show that to a child or adult, and I know I've kind of spoilt the magic of just suddenly bringing it up. But if you kind of fold that in front of someone and say, well, what's this going to be? And it suddenly does that, 9 times out of 10, people will smile with delight and be surprised by that. So yeah, there's, like you said, there's a practical, tangible thing you can end up with origami.
So just thinking about the course, it's 5 sessions, isn't it? 5 weeks.
That's correct. Yeah.
Starting next Saturday. What could people expect to learn? Obviously, that's a great example, but
sure.
How would it kind of develop through the course?
Well, that's a good question. It's going to be an introduction to origami and paper craft. So without kind of giving the course itself, but you will learn basic simple folds. This is a fish, and this can be made with just a few basic folds. And this, again, you move that and its mouth does funny talking. And so if you've not done any folding before, or if your experience of paper folding is like at school making paper airplanes and throwing them around the class when teachers not looking, which a lot of us have done, there's very few people who haven't ever folded a piece of paper. But it's just learning beyond that what you can do, because there's some tricky folds where you're almost folding things inside out. And so I'll teach you those basic folds first. I'll show you how to make fun things like a flying bird. And then slightly more advanced, there'll be things like you can make frogs, which have like a 3D aspect to them.
I think that's my favourite.
Yeah, no, I really, that's one of my favourite ones. And beyond origami, there will also be 3 sessions where we look at paper craft. Just to make the distinction, origami, strictly speaking, is where you generally start with one piece of paper. There are exceptions to this, and you fold it up, and you generally don't cut it, and then you will come up with a complete thing based on that. Paper craft, I'm going to show you some examples of paper craft. These things that Claire has also made from Splodge Designs. Now, we won't necessarily be making all of these on the course, but it shows what you can achieve by cutting bits of paper and card and gluing them and decorating them. But you can make nice scenes like that, which if I move it correctly like that,
that's nice.
So again, although that would take a lot of time and patience, the materials for that are basically card, sellotape or glue, and pens, and the means to like colour in with whatever you want to colour in with. Claire's also made really nice things like this, like storybooks, which
so there's lots of scope to take it forward, and there's
elements to them.
There's a question here on the stream. Do you think that origami could be frustrating for some people, for example, a beginner?
It could be a little frustrating, but it's like a kind of barrier to overcome. Maybe if I kind of if I show you a quick demonstration while I'm talking. That's me doing my quick multitask. But there are some unusual folds that feel a bit strange at first. Now, most people could achieve things like I'm doing quickly in front of you, where you fold something in half diagonally. And I'm like whizzing through the lesson here, but I'm just explaining the difference between things that are simple and logical. And most people get the idea of what I'm doing here, and then I fold this in here. And a thing that people might find frustrating is that there are some folds that you might not have ever done before, and you might find it tricky. And the best thing is just to not give up and think I can't do it, because once you master these folds, you'll be able to do it. For instance, if I fold this back, this is basically what I want to do now is get something from inside here. Don't worry if you don't entirely get what I'm doing, but I've effectively fold it down, and at the same time something else comes inside out. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've kind of created like a flap that wasn't there before. Like I said, don't worry if you don't get what I'm showing, you will be shown properly on the course. But things like that are quite confusing if you've never actually done that move. But it's just part of your muscle memory will learn that. So, like I said, although it can be a bit frustrating, once you overcome these barriers of thinking, if I keep trying this, I will master that fold. And then when someone demonstrates it to you again, or you come across that in a book with a completely different animal, you'll know that it's achievable because you can do that special inside out technique.
That makes sense. And I was just thinking as you were talking then that actually when something is a little bit frustrating, or you're trying at something, it's even more gratifying, you know, when you then achieve it. So you know, in some ways that can be a very positive experience, and a really good thing to challenge ourselves with new stuff. You know, learning is something that's really good for our health, in, you know, mentally, and sort of socially. So it's so although something might be a little bit difficult, just kind of taking your time with it, and in a really like positive, sort of encouraging team, you know, like we are on together, reaching out on Zoom, you can connect with people, and that support can help you through, and then you can achieve it. And how great that is.
Definitely.
Yeah. So for those of you who were just thinking, how do I access the course? I know somebody's put a message on there. I've just literally linked you there in the comments to the course. So you can go ahead, sign up. It's completely free. 5 weeks starting. When does it start?
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday, yeah.
I can see you opposed to say something just then, so I shall shut up. I'm talking a lot today. I'm in a talkative mood this morning.
So just if someone signs up, Paul, what do they need to have them when they start the course?
That's a very good question. The good thing about origami itself, it's quite simple on materials. Basically, you will obviously need paper. Now, paper, obviously, you can obtain it from all sorts of sources. You can, if you want to recycle, use newspapers and magazines. There's a whole branch of origami that's like kind of newspaper-based, newspaper magic, where you can fold it and make kind of nice kind of gadgets and things like that. Like I said, when I first started, I had a lot of access to paper that had been used, written on one side or printed on one side. So you can, if you want to recycle, use things like that. You could, if you want, use wallpaper. You can purchase special paper if you want from, obviously, I know we can't get to craft shops so easily now, but you could get them from like various places, order online, you know, kind of like eBay, Google, Amazon, you know. Other independent branches are available as well if you want to support independent people. You know, there might be like fair trade products you can get and things like that. You can, you know, these are just simple bits of paper that are colour on one side and white on the other. You don't have to have it that way. It could be coloured on both sides. They could be textured. These are, if you can see, like size-wise, about the size of my hand, but they needn't be. A lot of paper you could start could be A4. But I wouldn't go much smaller than what I've shown you there, because you can make really small things if you want to show off. But when you're learning, make them at a kind of regular size first. And you don't want like a massive A3 bit of paper either if you're just learning. But yeah, theoretically any paper. So that's the paper element for origami. A pair of scissors as well, because we'll be moving on to paper craft where we'll be cutting a few things out. You can use thin card for the paper craft things, or coloured paper, or plain paper. Some glue or sellotape, and some pens and to draw things, and pencils, and whatever you choose to colour with, your preferred choice, crayons, felt tips, paint, etc. You know, and just yourself and your enthusiasm, and I'll be breaking it down step by step. So be a nice fun social activity for everyone.
That sounds fantastic. And just a thought that came to me, because I can see Kayla on the stream here from Cape Town is saying that she really wants to join the course. She's an occupational therapist and is finding this quite fascinating. And so I just had a thought to myself to mention that if you are wanting to partake and you're outside the UK and the time doesn't quite work for you, I mean, obviously coming to the Zoom sessions is a really key part to engaging and connecting with people, but we have designed our courses so that you can connect and engage even if you don't attend the live Zoom session. So we've got a online forum where you can still chat with Paul and ask any sort of questions here and there, and share what you've made. And so people can take photos of what you're doing, and you can post them up there, and you can rewatch the lesson. The main tutorial part of the Zoom session will be uploaded into the course. So yeah, so come to the, you know, we want to really encourage people to come to the live sessions, but as I say, if you are partaking from a different country and the time doesn't work, you can still access this and you can still engage and connect.
Brilliant. Yes, yeah, good point about the fact that people can upload what they've, you know, images and photos of what they've done, and kind of share them with the group, which I think is a really nice thing to do. Okay, so is there anything else you want to add, Paul?
Just to reiterate what you both said, that this highlights the fact that origami and papercraft, if you want, it can be an activity that you can do by yourself and focus and concentrate on. But it can also, if you want it to be a social thing where you can do it with people online, or when we're allowed to in real life groups, but something where you can share the results as well. Because I could just make a bird, but I could obviously post it online and people can share their different variations. They might decorate it differently. But some people, when they meet together in groups, might make like hundreds of these, and you can kind of string them up almost as if they're like branches of trees. So it becomes a real communal activity. So yeah, you know, share and connect with everyone. And it'd be great as people post things, because these are just ideas. And if you want to vary what we start doing, it'd be great to see all the different things people come up with.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Lovely.
Okay, thanks very much, Paul.
Thank you.
Yeah, very excited about yours and other courses starting very soon.
Looking forward to it, or looking forward to meeting everyone online.
Do you want to remind us the time and date of the course, Carolyn or Paul?
So
it's
Saturday is the 27th, if I'm correct. Yes. So
That's right.
Saturday, 27th of February at 11 o'clock is the and if you, as long as you sign up, register for the course, you'll get the link, and then you get a reminder email as well. So yeah, there's just to, you know, so you remember when to sign in.
And just to add to that, if for some reason you miss a session or you can't catch up watching one, don't feel like it's school where you're going to fall behind. Although it'd be great to attend every session, I do recap and make it so people can kind of jump in at any point really and still gain something from the session.
Lovely. Brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, we're done then.
Indeed. If you don't mind, instead of waving goodbye, I think I'm going to have this bird.
Now my wave just looks poor. I mean,
it's going to start there and it's going to fly off screen as you sign us out. Very slowly.
Beautiful.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.